Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. It's Megan and today I'm going to be sharing my top 10 books with you from 2020. I'm going to be going in backwards order from 10 all the way down to number 1, and I will be only sharing books that were either a standalone or a brand new series to me or a first book in a series to me. I do have 2 companion-ish videos coming out after this, and one will be my top 10 books that were sequels and the other will be top 10 runners up, because I had so many fantastic reads in 2020 that I just need to share them all. So expect those coming out probably within the next couple weeks. This is round 2 of trying to film this video. I started filming it only to get like 4 books in and realized I'd never hit the record button. So we are clearly killing it. I'm gonna do my best to express my excitement about these books, but I hope I say all the things that I said the first time. So coming in at number 10 is Fable by Adrienne Young. I loved Sky in the Deep last year by Adrienne Young, so I was very excited to pick this one up. It was actually my most anticipated read of 2020. And we're following Fable, who was left on the island of thieves by her father after a horrible shipwreck that caused her mother's death. And her father, after seeing her mother's death, was wary that Fable might not be cut out for the life of a pirate, so he sent her to this island to prove herself. And Fable is a dredger, so that means that she can dive down into the ocean pretty deep and get treasure from shipwrecks and like special shells, that kind of thing. And she uses this skill to barter her way off of the island of thieves onto a ship that has a crew with a secret of their own. And the romance in this is so good. The witty banter between Fable and our love interest is so fun, and I cannot wait for Namesake to come out this year. Next is number 9, and it is my new, for lack of a better term, guilty pleasure series. It wormed its way right into my heart, and yeah, it is The Selection by Kiera Cass. Before I read it, it was pitched to me as The Hunger Game meets The Bachelor, and that just sounded fantastic, so I immediately had to pick it up. It is the story of America, who is from one of the districts, and every year, well not every year, every generation, when the prince comes of age, they hold a competition in which one girl from each district or city or something gets taken into the palace and is entered into a competition for the prince's hand. America wants no part of this, but she, of course, ends up getting chosen, and she and Maxon form an alliance to help her get into the competition and keep going. It's essentially a fake dating type of thing, and of course there's conflict outside of the competition with politics and royalty and rebels and all sorts of things, and it was just fascinating and I loved it so much. I've only read the first 3 books of the series, but I am planning to pick up The Crown, The Heir, and Happily Ever Afters in February. Number 8 is Four Dead Queens, and this is exciting because I actually just had my mom read this book, so now we can fangirl about it together. It's essentially a murder mystery set in a fantasy dystopian world in which there are 4 quadrants, and there is a queen reigning over each of the quadrants. And we, in this story, are following Carolee, who is a thief of one of the quadrants, or like a petty criminal essentially, and she comes across plans to assassinate the queen, and she has to figure out who did it, or who is going to do it, how it's going to happen, when it's going to happen, if it's already happened, those sorts of things, and save this kingdom from falling apart. This is a standalone. I wish there was more books in this series, but highly recommend. Please pick it up. Number 7 is House of Salt and Sorrows by Erin A. Craig. This is a dark retelling of the 12 Dancing Princesses, and I couldn't have been more enthralled. If you don't know the story of the 12 Dancing Princesses, I don't really either. I only know the Barbie version, but from what I remember, it's these 12 sisters are just wanting to escape the life of like royalty or like not being in prison, but they just feel in prison because they have to live up to society's rules and that kind of thing, and they come across a magical door that lets them go off and be free and dance. And in this book, instead of the happy-go-lucky version, we have 12 sisters who are dying off one by one, and we have to figure out what's happening. It has a unreliable narrator. It has illusionary magic, very similar to the vibes of Caraval if you enjoy that series. And it's also set on like a sea-esque setting, which just makes my heart so happy. Number 6 is Girls of Paper and Fire by Natasha and Jan. This is the story of a girl who has golden eyes, which is normally a sign of being a demon, and she is very human. She just has these special eyes for whatever reason. I don't even think it actually talks about why she has these eyes. Maybe that's coming in the 3rd book, who knows. But we're following her because in this kingdom the demon takes in 8 concubines every year, but in order to please the king, the general has decided to present our main character to the king as his 9th concubine, and we are following her journey into becoming that. There is a ton of trigger warnings for sexual assault and that nature of things, so please go into it with that in mind. But it's fantastic, it's sapphic, it's beautiful, it's yes. I was speechless when finishing this book because I loved it so much. The reason it's a little bit lower is because the sequel kind of ruined it for me. Definitely one of my most disappointing books of the year, but Girls of Paper and Fire on its own is definitely top 10 worthy. Number 5 is an entire series for me because I can't pick just one out of the series. I mean, I could, and I will get to that, but overall, The Lunar Chronicles comes in at number 5. Cinder is the first book, which is why I'm showing it. I didn't want to hold the entire series, but it is a series of fairy tale retellings in a sci-fi world. And we start with Cinder, which is a Cinderella retelling, and then goes into Scarlet with a Red Riding Hood retelling. Cress is a Rapunzel retelling, and Winter is a Snow White retelling. We also have 2 companion novels, Fairest, which is the backstory of our main villain, and Stars Above, which is a series of short stories in this world. Cress is probably my favorite of the series, with Cinder being a very close second, and it is essentially our cyborg named Cinder is an orphan and taken in by a family, and ends up making friends with the prince. So yeah, that's how that rolls. And each book, we're still following Cinder. It's a continuous plot. We're just adding in those new characters with each book, and it's so fun. And I read it as an audiobook format, so highly recommend. Number 4 is A River of Royal Blood by Amanda Joy, and this was everything I wanted 3 Dark Crowns to be and more. Imagine like 3 Dark Crowns mixed with Children of Blood and Bone, and you have A River of Royal Blood. I'm trying to like hold it where the ring light won't shine really harshly against it, but I'm not finding a spot. Here we go. But we're following our main character, Eva, who is about to turn 16 and come into her name day, which is when she will acquire and come into her full power. And she has to battle her sister Issa for the throne. And let's just say the relationship between these 2 sisters is not friendly in the slightest. And I was thriving on it. So I'm pretty sure that one of my favorite tropes is battling for a crown. So yeah. I'm just gonna forewarn you that my descriptions are about to get not as eloquent. Not that they have been eloquent, but they're gonna get a little less detailed, because I feel like the more I love a book, the harder it is for me to talk about. So as we grow closer to number 1, it's gonna get a little bit harder. I'm getting emotional because I love these books so much. Yes, okay. Number 3. Oh, you beautiful. Number 3, The Beautiful. This is by Renee Attier. It is a murder mystery romance in 1872 New Orleans, in which we're following Celine, who has done an unforgivable thing in her past and had to flee to New Orleans to escape her wrongdoings, and ends up in this, like, nunnery, I think it is. Like, I forget what the actual term is. Convent? Of course, it doesn't say it in the synopsis, but essentially she's like a nun type person, and until one day she is selling her wares at the market, and one of her customers ends up pulling her into the underbelly of New Orleans, and she is in for a wild ride, and it's like paranormal, murder mystery, romance. I don't even know what else to say about it. It was so good. I can't wait to read the sequel, which is The Damned, and then I think there's 2 more books in this series. And Renee Attier, Renee Attier, Attier, I think that's how you pronounce it. Attier. Renee is a glorious author, and I cannot get enough of this work. Number 2 is Where Dreams Descend by Janella Angeles. If you like Caraval, if you like Phantom of the Opera, if you like The Night Circus, if you like anything in that realm, Where Dreams Descend is for you. It is a dark retelling of Phantom of the Opera, as if Phantom of the Opera wasn't dark enough. We are following our main character, Kalia, who is a female magician, which is very frowned upon in the society. And she enters a competition to become the headlining act of the Concord Circus. And her former master, for lack of a better term, is not pleased by this, is on the path to stop this from happening. Meanwhile, each round of the competition, there's mysterious things happening to her competitors. We have some being killed off, some going missing, some being maimed, and it's just absolute chaos. And Kalia is just trying to focus on herself, focus on her powers, that kind of thing. The thing I really love about this series is that Kalia is totally, like, not vain. She cares about her appearance, and she's also a total bad A, if you catch my drift. But yeah, I can go into the plot, but my feelings for it, I literally can't stop thinking about this book. Like, I think about it all the time, and I just need everyone to read it, so please go read it. It's a duology, I'm pretty sure, at least according to Goodreads. Could be more coming in the future, who knows. At this time, it is a duology on Goodreads, but yeah, read it. And last, but certainly not least, is one of my new favorite series of all time, Scythe by Neil Shusterman. This book, let me tell you, synopsis is intriguing, don't get me wrong, but I never in my wildest dreams imagined I would love this book this much, or this. I'm going to call number 1 the entire series, because every single book in this series was amazing, and I honestly cannot pick a favorite. It'd be like asking me to choose a favorite child. I cannot pick a favorite out of the series. We have Scythe, Thunderhead, and The Toll. It's a trilogy. And the main concept is that in this world, they have eradicated the idea of death. People can live despite illnesses, injuries, anything except if a scythe chooses to glean them. We are following 2 apprentice scythes who are from very different walks of life. They were taken in by a scythe, and we are following them in their journey to becoming scythes. Normally, it would be fine for 2 scythes to join. However, for whatever reason, the council decided that they are to be pitted against one another, and whoever wins this, like, improvised competition is to kill off the other as the new scythe. and of course they fall in love. So yeah, but this whole journey was fantastic. Cannot express enough how much I loved the series. Like, yeah. I'm like out of breath because my heart is pounding. I literally sobbed after each of these books, not because really anything sad happened, but just because the story itself was so good that it just brought me to tears. So yeah, Scythe. Yes, that was my top 10 for 2020. Let me know what your favorite books were in 2020, and I will catch in with you in my next one. Thank you so much for watching. Bye, friends.